Good evening, Bahamas. Coming up tonight.
Brenton Smith lives on 10 years after he lost his life at the hands of police.
Hundreds of dollars in food and appliances lost here at Pat's nursing home.
One Bahamian secures a collaboration with a world-renowned clothing brand.
Our news is brought to you by Alive.
Welcome to Our News and thanks for joining us. I'm Kyle Joachim. Topping news tonight, the grieving family of a man who was shot and killed on Tuesday is speaking out. Jared Higgs tells us the man was murdered days before his son's 6th birthday.
Now, according to police, it was around 6 o'clock on Tuesday evening when 3 men were shot on Amos Ferguson Street. 2 of those men were transported to hospital and 1 of them ended up dying.
Family members told Our News the victim is 23-year-old KEION Butler, the father of a 5-year-old boy.
I can't figure it out.
Butler's mother, 43-year-old Tara Richardson, was visibly emotional when speaking to Our News. She says she shared a close bond with her son, whom she described as a helpful and caring man who would always check on her.
Keon had a big mind. He had big dreams.
Butler's relatives say they are struggling to come to grips with his unexpected passing, calling it a major blow. His stepfather, 43-year-old Jason Richardson, says he got word that KEION was shot as he got off from work on Tuesday. He says family visited the scene but were unable to see his body.
To me, it feels like it's still a dream. I can't believe it.
Butler, a former employee of Aquapure, was killed about 3.5 miles from where he lived. His family thinks he may have been with the wrong crowd.
He was just the wrong place at the wrong time.
Butler's 5-year-old son is set to celebrate his 6th birthday this weekend. Richardson says it was a day his stepson was looking forward to.
And that's all he was talking about, having something for his son. That's all was coming out of him, having something for his son on Saturday of the same week.
He wanted to make sure that it was a special birthday.
Birthday for him, yes.
Butler's mother says the hardest part is that her grandson doesn't understand that his father is gone.
He looked just like his dad. To just see him and the same person.
According to Our News records, Butler's killing was the 55th homicide for 2019. Reporting for Our News, I'm Jared Higgs.
10 years after 18-year-old Brenton Smith was shot and killed by police, his family is reflecting on the loss, admitting that time has still not healed the gaping wounds caused by his tragic death. Jasmine Brown reports.
It's been 10 years since Brenton lost his life, but for his family, it's been an eternity as they seek to let his memory live on.
It's just so sad. This is how and people say time heals all wounds, but it's not true. It don't. You just learn to cope each day. Some days are better than other days. And I'm sure other families feel like us as well.
A decade after his death, Smith's relatives are still brought to tears when they think about who he was and how he died.
So really, it doesn't get better. Like people would like to say, well, that's 10 years. 10 years, but we don't have him with us.
His father, Hector Smith, says it certainly hasn't been easy, as they spent a significant part of the time trying to clear his son's name after he was shot and killed by police.
No, I gotta clean it up. And I cleaned it up. But the truth is free. And that's what it is. The truth is free.
Brenton was killed on July 9, 2009 while walking with a friend through a shortcut at the rear of the old City Market food store on Village Road. The shooting took place shortly after the store was robbed by 2 men, one of whom was armed with a handgun, according to evidence presented in court. Smith was not involved in the robbery. In May 2010, a 7-man jury found that Officer Kelsey Monroe acted in self-defense when he fired the fatal shot that killed the 18-year-old. The jury took an hour to reach the decision and concluded that Monroe's actions were of reasonable legal force because he was in fear of his life. Smith's father says in addition to the emotional toll, there was also a financial one, as he and Brenton's mother ended up spending money that was once designated for college for his funeral and legal expenses.
Just like what we spent over the years, I mean, don't want to go into the fine arts of things, but that was his college fund. So, hey, this is it.
Since his death, Brenton's family has gotten even closer, with his father insisting it was the only way they were able to move on. The family has refused to let his memory die, as they have let his name live on through art shows and sports competitions.
He wanted to make a difference.
Now that he is gone, his family says they will be making that difference for him. Reporting for our News, I'm Jasmine Brown.
A 6-man team of specialists from U.S.-based company Philadelphia Gear are on the island attempting to restore a 20-megawatt engine at Bahamas Power and Light. Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis made the announcement in a statement and vowed to do whatever it takes to alleviate what he called the unacceptable load shedding taking place across New Providence. He said BPL officials met with Cabinet on Tuesday. He noted that in the short term, BPL is currently carrying out a plan to mitigate its shortfall in generation. He added, it is expected to provide relief to residents as soon as possible and includes an additional 9 megawatts of power from Agreco, whose units are expected to be returned to service. New Providence residents have been plagued with power outages daily. This is the first time Minnis has publicly addressed the ongoing power crisis on the island. Well, 1 month after lamenting the frustrations of power cuts at Pat's Senior Citizens Home, owners say the situation has deteriorated in recent days. With more on this, here's Giorgio Bain.
Following an announcement from Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis that a team has been brought in to help to fight this vexing power issue we're experiencing here in the country, we revisit Pat's nursing home to find out that they've lost hundreds in food and appliances since the summer of power outages has started.
What a privilege to carry. 78-year-old John Forte appeared to be near tears as he prayed to have the power problem resolved once and for all. He told our news that it has never been this bad.
Please keep the light on, sir. In Jesus' name, we ask this. Amen.
Sitting in the home's recreation room, 80-year-old Grace Roker had these words for executives at Bahamas Power and Light.
Put the light on for us, do please. We love you. So put the light on for this, especially these girls who are going Junkanoo in tonight.
Imagine being responsible for the care of the most vulnerable in society, 35 elderly persons with special needs, including medication and oxygen machines, only to experience 3 to 4 hour-long power outages on a daily basis. This has left caretakers at Pat's nursing home on edge.
This is an automatic oxygen machine that goes with electricity. When this is hooked up to him right now. When the electricity goes off, the first thing we have to do is try and find him, because he has no more oxygen and he has to live on this. So as you can see, the tank is here, just a backup tank. So when the electricity goes off, we must find him right away and hook him up to this.
Since the summer rolled in, the home has lost multiple refrigerators, computers, air conditioning units, and required electricians to check almost all of its appliances. Homeowner Patricia Moxie stood in several rooms, and despite continuously flicking power switches, there was no power going to ceiling fans or lights. Moxie said the thought of how much has been lost is far too upsetting.
In food, we can't even count how much we lost, because we throw out stuff every day, especially stuff that has been buy in bulks and stuff like that. Well, actually, food, we lost hundreds of dollars. Let's put it that way. Hundreds of dollars. Right now, I think our light bill here, which we don't get no discount for this area rate, is about 20-something thousand. Okay, and this is just the unisex section. We had to purchase a generator that was like $40,000.
Moxie said at the end of the day, she prays that the situation is finally corrected. Reporting for our news, I'm Giorgio Bain.
Thanks, Giorgio. Still to come, Customs Click to Clear program getting mixed reactions. Plus, a Bahamian model catches the eye of Calvin Klein. Stay tuned.